Yo, what's up? It's your boy Currency 365. Hope you guys are doing well. Legends never die. They stay in our hearts. If you want to support us, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also you can come down here and hit the join button under the video or in our channel section. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/currency365. And we also have Cash App and also PayPal for support if you want to sow some seeds. Peace out. God bless. Enjoy the video and keep the movement going. Legends. Bye.
They create the problem. In order to have peace, you must cause chaos. You know, they were behind it. When I say they, bad actors within the deep state, the criminal cabal that have infiltrated our government. Because if you say just the government itself was behind it, that sounds a little bit more conspiratorial. So I told a friend, you want to say it's bad actors or members of the deep state or establishment, people who are connected to cabal members that are their minions, their underlings, who a lot of times happen to be part of secret societies and stuff. That's a whole nother discussion within itself, within the pecking order of things, how they control or spy or report on people and how they communicate with their emblems, their charms, their handshakes and stuff like that. You see, you would understand it better, but I have to explain things in a more simplistic form for when I get challenged down there that, oh, Dorsey, you're just pushing that conspiracy theory stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. But you guys get it. Those of you all who really know, have been following me for a while, I appreciate you guys. And it's still, I see tons of people who are waking up, especially with the redemption education. I'm so proud of you guys that are learning that information. And some of you already know which there's a group out there I consider to be the best. And they show receipts all the time of success stories they're having. But there's always going to be haters out there, non-believers. And hey, those people are on their own. I can lead you to the fountain, but it's up to you to determine whether or not you're thirsty, if you want to drink from the water fountain or not. So I'm not going to force you. I just got to put it out there because I have a duty to do that and to inform the public under the Good Samaritan's law, so people can be informed as to what is really happening out there. So, you know, when these things take place, you'll have an understanding, and that way we can get better organized and we can find the right people to get organized with, so you will be prepared for these calamities that we know that the Klaus Schwab with the World Economic Forum, which he's mentioned on record, if you haven't seen, he's said on video about potential power outages, a cyber attack. Some people have even mentioned a form of EMP strike. Look up the Carrington event. A friend of mine tells me about. This is not a coincidence. So they're going to blame this. Not only it could be on the Russians, the Chinese. This is the narrative they're going to push, or they're going to say, oh, it's Trump supporters. They can use that narrative. They're always going to remember they need a big event. Remember, I told you guys, I think last year when I did a video, they need like another 9/11 type event. So remember when 9/11 happened, they blamed Osama bin Laden. He was the boogeyman. Remember when it was in the mainstream media at the time, a friend of mine called me up and asked me what was going on because it sounded so crazy when they shot that helicopter down some years ago when those Navy SEALs got killed. And then remember, then they did another story that the Navy SEALs had rescued Osama bin Laden. And they said the story, when the news told the story, it was so funny that my friend said, hey, he said, how in the world, he didn't believe it. He's actually a Democrat. He worked Obama's campaign. And he said to me, he said, this is some BS where they're telling us he was getting jimmied up when the SEALs broke in and found him, when they did like a video reenactment. You know how you're watching the mainstream media and they were talking about at that time, during this time period, this was back around 2011. And my friend, he didn't even buy the official story in the mainstream media. And I thought it was funny. I said, wow, when they do stories like this, they make it sound so outrageous. They cause people to wake up. When this is the mainstream media or establishment media that Klaus Schwab with the World Economic Forum and Yuval Noah Harari, they want you to listen to. Remember, Klaus Schwab said he wants you following the mainstream media. That's why he wants to get rid of freedom of speech. When they meet, it's not a coincidence when they meet with these corporate CEOs, they summons them to come to the Bilderberg meeting, because the World Economic Forum, the Davos group based out of Davos, Switzerland, it's like the daylight version of the Bilderberg. So it's not a coincidence They summons tech giants, heads of state, politicians worldwide, leaders, potentates, diplomats, people in different industries, medical field, to infiltrate, to push their New World Order agenda, their deviant, wicked, evil depopulation agenda as well. That's part of it too. Bill Gates is heavily tied in with this. Warren Buffett. These people are not the good guys. They're the bad guys. And I've said that a long time ago. If you watch some of my older videos, one of them I found out was removed. Several of them. One of them I said, are they the good guys or the bad guys? You be the judge. There's evidence. There's been documentation throughout the years. We've known about this. Tons of people, not just myself, millions of people. So I'm just, letting you guys know, to reiterate, that's what's going on. So in the near future, before I shut this video down, what I plan to do, just, it's going to take me some time. I still work a full-time job outside of this, and they've jerked my hours around. By the way, I have to kind of build the momentum back, and I've still been involved in other things behind the scenes. By the way, is stay the course, continue as I follow the blueprint that I mentioned from the previous videos. No need to mention what that is again. When you saw my video about staying the course, I believe Currency 365 had reshared it at one time. You guys are welcome to go sub over to his channel. By the way, kudos to the work he puts out. By the way, so this stuff is real, and I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm back. This is where we're headed. So in the near future, maybe I'm considering renewing my Zoom membership, so I can share my screen on my computer. I can get more acclimated. I wanted to do this recently. I can go in depth, even if I have to use the free version. I need to play around a little bit. I may do like a test or something in the near future, because it's been a while since I used it. And then when I don't use my tech in a while, I forget certain things, maybe because I'm getting older. But I got to get back tech savvy, so I can show you guys the evidence, the reports, the documents, and even maybe do some videos for you all, basic stuff that deals with redemption education, because there's a lot of haters and non-believers. And then also in the near future, I plan on doing a video, if this thing hasn't happened yet, where I'll show you guys my actual receipts from the Zimbabwe notes, the dong, to prove, to validate, and even more credible information, how there's even currency books you can look up, PDF files. I'm giving you free game if you're concerned about the legitimacy, and they tell you about the security features, what to look out for, who to purchase from. Some of these currency exchange places, they had to register with the Treasury, by the way, if you're wondering about the legitimacy. Or they had to have security. They had to have certain qualifications in order to sell foreign currency. You got to think about these things when you look into the legitimacy. So I'm not talking about the scam artists or the fraud. I talk about the legitimate side. So understand there's a big difference, folks, in any and everything. Another thing to give you guys a heads up with, there's been a lot of scammers on the rise out here. So if you guys see Dorsey's Resource, a fake channel, that's not me. Make sure I'm not going to just directly WhatsApp you or directly message you or telegram you unless you already had a consultation set up or you were already doing business. That's something different. But know the difference. You got a lot of scam artists that are cloning accounts, cloning different people's channels. Be careful out here. Watch out for them, because I got tricked recently. By the way, I thought I had Kelly OG, who I was a subscriber of, who's a big, large content creator who has a big following. I commend the work that she does. And I thought about it. I caught it in a short amount of time. I said, a lot of times when somebody has a big account, they're going to be verified. And sure enough, I went back, I looked up, and she had a verified account. So these were other con artists that had cloned her Instagram page, made a clone of it, and were following me. It made me think it was really actually her. Then it dawned on me a few minutes as I was up, and I went and I looked her name up. I did a Yahoo or Google search, and her real Instagram channel was verified. And I think she even did something and talked about it. And this has happened when a lot of people get real big, or content creators go viral, or people have a real big following. So watch out. These these scam artists, the con artists, they're getting real slick. Just like with these email scams, a lot of times the IRS, DT Energy, or your bank like company is not going to email you directly and ask for money. That's always a red flag if you're being asked for money, or if you're being threatened to have your lights cut off, or taxes being sent. Don't send money. That a lot of times it's a scam. So you guys got to watch up. They even have videos on YouTube to teach you, to show you how to watch out for stuff like that. So just to give you guys a heads up, if you're curious, I know I do get messages from time to time. I don't really respond, but just once again, be careful out there. And if you guys see somebody out there that's impersonating my account, please report it on my behalf. Let me know so I can report the accounts. And YouTube is pretty good when somebody, if they do, I allow Currency 365, by the way, to share my videos. I had no problem with that at all. I told a couple people I knew privately, by the way, but there is things to watch out for, to be careful about out here. So I said a mouthful. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. I'm going to jump in the chat section before I hop off. Here to acknowledge you all. Lynn Hopper says, good evening, my brother. Appreciate you, Lynn. Gerald Jokes says, shit, late night. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you, Gerald. King says, salute, bro. Appreciate you. Overstanding Lies says, salute, my brother. Appreciate you. Chi Vegas says, peace, peace, everyone. Appreciate you joining. Thank you, Chi. Overstanding Lies says, presidents aren't elected, they're selected. You heard me. Yes, yes. A lot of times they are, but I said, Trump is like, he's the canary in a coal mine, by the way. He's not part of the establishment. He's outside the establishment. There's a lot of evidence. I've said a mouthful at. That's a whole separate video within itself. Some people debate over that. I've had debates. But trust me, he's not under the category that Obama, Hillary, and Bush and Biden are very heavily, Kamala Harris, very heavily connected to the deep state cabal. And there's a lot of evidence behind the scenes. Remember, whistleblowers and people have been killed. Look how much they're demonizing Trump and all this money he's being fined by. And I'll give you a good example why Trump is not part of the establishment. Just compare Obama. We know Obama was not perfect. A lot of presidents aren't. So don't take this how you want it. But I remember they mentioned he came into office with a net worth around $5 million with the books and stuff. I remember this stuff because they were mentioning how much Hillary was worth at the time. He had a contentious race against her in the primaries before he beat John McCain in the main presidential election. So he was going into office. He had a net worth around $5 million. He leaves office after 2 terms in office. Remember, Trump didn't take a salary when he took office as president. Obama leaves office. He's a multi-millionaire. We're talking about several hundred million. They say by the time his career is over with, similar to LeBron James, he'll be a billionaire. Now, remember, president's only supposed to make a salary of like 200-something thousand a year. And they mentioned Obama's net worth when he got in office around 4 or 5 million. They said this publicly back then. I remember the mainstream media because I have a good memory. So he left office after 2 terms. He leaves office. He's worth now estimated several hundred million. Folks, that's called corruption. Just think about it. And what did he do for the black community? He had a chance to pass reparations, but he went out of his way because a friend of mine was telling me, we went to Idlewild one year, which is a historically black resort, because this February is Black History Month. By the way, I didn't get a chance to do a video specifically, but just a short story before I get on out of here. A friend of mine says this older black lady told her, and I met her before, we had went to another event, and she was talking to me, and he said she told him that Obama couldn't do anything for black people. And my friend said he called BS on that because Obama, Barry Soetoro, Barack Hussein Obama, went out of his way to help legalize, in many instances, same-sex marriage. Went out of his way. So you know who the main culprit was behind sabotaging the family structure. And I'm not married, by the way, so I take a personal vendetta against that. It made it more difficult for me, even though a lot of black women are very hypergamous. You're not a tall guy, 6 feet, 6 figures, 6-pack, silliness. But compared to other races, my friend pointed out when I was with him in the suburbs, we were shopping, grocery shopping, leaving, and it was women, Hindu, especially. I love the Hindu culture, very respectful of their husbands, pushing the carts for them, submissive, nurturing, uplifting, like Kevin Samuels would talk about. But you see why, you hear the complaints come from, and I don't talk about this dating relationship stuff, but notice how other cultures, I have to commend them, give credit where credit is due. They don't have the problems that the black community has. Some quick sum up. But you had all these black women, people had all this love for Obama. He did all this stuff and sabotaged the black community, did nothing. And Dr. Claude Anderson, I found out, reached out to him, and it has said it was on congressional record. It was a way to look it up. It says Obama got a hold of it. We put in a package, and they did it twice to help push reparations. And at one time, Obama, White House, they had control of the House and Senate, Democrats and Republicans. Should have been his first priority or order of business if he was going to push all these other agendas. And then you see with Biden currently in office, he's constantly giving more money to Ukraine. There's money for the Palestinians or the Jews. We support Israel. You see the Palestinian people or the Arab community is protesting Biden. Think that's a coincidence? But how do you think us African Americans or Black Americans over here feel? I should say melanated Americans feel about that. And then I tell a friend of mine to show you, Biden's administration is aware of this, because I watched Juneteenth last year. I was listening to his press secretary. What's her name? Jean something. I don't know. My friend knows her full name. And she says, message specifically to the black community on Juneteenth last year. This is in June of 2023, June 19th. She says, Biden has not forgotten about the black community. We're looking into reparations. And then not too long after that, she talks about we're sending more money to Ukraine. What a slap in the face. I just said that to a friend of mine who's a black Republican. It's a conservative. And I said, yep. And he's even starting to agree with, he told me now, he sees. So you guys see where I'm coming from. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. But these things to me are very egregious. So don't, when I'm questioning sometimes, that is just, you can make it how you want it. But I pay very close attention, just looking at all angles. Obama went into office, net worth $4 or $5 million, comes out multi-millionaire. Trump made his billions through resorts, golf courses, casinos, hotels, real estate, golf courses, casinos, etc. Legitimate way, whether you agree with the judgment or not. But you have a lot of Democrat politicians going to office broke. They come out rich, and they're not serving the people. That's another thing to think about. And I leave you all, let you guys just ponder and think about that. When you really make your decision, who is the lesser of two evils? And you see a crime rate has been going up, especially in Democratic liberal cities. You think that's a coincidence? Homelessness, tent cities, and we're not naming certain cities and states, but you guys can kind of fill in when you see what's going on, the hypocrisy, by the way, because I'm in very liberal Detroit, by the way, and I won't speak on that because I said, let me stay out of politics, get out of it. But I just go back to the basics. Just keep it simple.